All right, let's dive right in. Today, we are going to unpack a really significant text to try and understand the mindset of an alcoholic. It's a way of thinking that, for generations, has just confused the heck out of friends, family, and even doctors.
It's the question everyone asks, right? It's filled with so much frustration and genuine confusion. I mean, if you're losing your family, your job, your health, why can't you just stop drinking? Well, the source material we're looking at says the answer has nothing to do with willpower. Okay, this quote right here, this is the absolute heart of the matter. The text puts this single idea at the center of the whole problem. It's not just a passing thought or desire, it's described as the great obsession. You know, this powerful, relentless force that just flies in the face of all logic and experience.
And this obsession, it fuels what the source calls an astonishing illusion. It's this deep-seated belief that control is just around the corner, that this time will be different, that the next attempt will finally work and they'll be able to drink like other people. The text says many people chase this illusion all the way to the gates of insanity or death.
So here's the bottom line. According to this text, recovery can't even start until this core delusion is faced head-on. The person has to, in their innermost self, completely give up the idea that they are like other people when it comes to alcohol. That whole delusion has to be smashed.
And that leads us to this really core idea in the text, that alcoholism isn't some kind of moral weakness or lack of willpower, it's a progressive illness. It argues that alcoholics are just plain different from other people, both physically and mentally.
And look, the source is super clear about its definition. A real alcoholic is someone who has crossed some kind of invisible line. They're in a state where control just isn't possible anymore. And, this is the really crucial part, it says that control is never regained.
This chart really lays out the difference, doesn't it? For a normal drinker, having a drink or stopping is just a choice. But for the alcoholic being described here, it's a total loss of control. It's an illness that just keeps getting worse, and it leads to what the text calls a pitiful and incomprehensible demoralization.
Wow, I mean, that is a heavy analogy, but it gets the point across so powerfully, doesn't it? It's the text's way of saying this condition is permanent. It's not something you can just fix or grow out of. It's a fundamental change that has to be managed for life.
Okay, so if control is gone for good, why on earth do they keep trying? Well, that takes us right back to the great obsession. The text goes into all these endless experiments people try, just to prove to themselves that they're the one exception to the rule. I mean, just look at this list. You can feel the desperation. I'll only drink beer. I'll never drink in the morning. Making these big, solemn oaths. It's just an endless cycle of new rules and new experiments, all designed to do the one thing that the text says is totally impossible. Drink under control.
To really hammer this point home, the source tells this incredible story. There's a guy who stops drinking at 30. For 25 solid years, he's sober, he's successful, then he retires, and he thinks to himself, hey, a quarter century of sobriety, I've earned the right to drink like a normal person. But within just 2 months, he's in a hospital, and in 4 years, he's dead.
And the lesson from that story is just brutal. It's blunt, and there's no misunderstanding it. All that time away from alcohol didn't cure the underlying problem. The second he took that first drink, boom, he was right back where he started 25 years earlier.
And this is where things get really, really strange. We come to the most baffling part of this whole thing, what the text calls the insanity that comes right before the first drink. It's this bizarre moment where all common sense, all memory of the terrible consequences just evaporates.
So, let's talk about a guy named Jim. He's got a great job, a wonderful family, and he knows, without a doubt, that if he drinks, he's going straight back to an asylum. He has literally everything to lose and absolutely nothing to gain.
Now what's so wild here is how normal it all starts. He's just stopping for a sandwich and a glass of milk. He has zero intention of drinking. And then this tiny, seemingly harmless thought pops into his head. You know, a little bit of whiskey in my milk? It couldn't hurt. And just like that, with that one trivial thought, all his knowledge, all his past suffering, it's just gone, pushed aside.
So, when the text uses the word insanity, it doesn't mean what we might normally think. It's talking about this very specific thing, a strange lack of proportion. It's this moment where a completely absurd, trivial idea can somehow overpower every single good reason not to drink.
To really get our heads around this, the book uses another killer analogy. Just imagine a guy who, for whatever reason, has this bizarre passion for jaywalking in front of speeding traffic.
So he gets hurt. Badly. A fractured skull, then a trolley car breaks his arm. You'd think that would be enough, right? Any sane person would stop doing that.
But he doesn't. He makes these sincere promises to his family and doctors that he'll stop. But then he's right back out on the street, and this time, wham, he breaks both his legs. His life is just a complete wreck. He knows it. He even commits himself. But the day he gets out of the asylum, what does he do? He races right in front of a speeding fire engine and breaks his back. We would all look at that guy and say, he is insane. No question about it.
And this is the gut punch question the text hits us with. If you swap out jaywalking and put in taking the first drink, is the story really that different? The behavior, going back again and again to the very thing that is guaranteed to destroy you, it's identical. The analogy suddenly doesn't seem ridiculous at all.
And that brings us to the final and maybe most critical piece of the puzzle. If the problem is this strange mental blank spot, can just knowing about it stop it from happening? The text answer is a hard no. We hear from another guy, Fred, a successful accountant, a smart, disciplined person. He was warned about this mental blank spot. He understood it completely, and he was sure that his own intelligence would protect him. But it didn't. After yet another relapse, he finally got it. He said willpower and self-knowledge were totally useless against it.
So what's the answer? What is the defense? After making the case that your own brain, your own willpower is not enough, the text ends with this really provocative statement. It says that for an alcoholic, the defense against that first drink, that insane thought, it can't be found inside themselves. It has to come from somewhere else, from an outside source of strength. And that final idea is really at the very core of the solution his text proposes.